Working?
So far, so good. It looks like it is.
Okay. All
Carol.
right. All right. Let me get. Oh, I did hit live already. Oops. Let me go off. We can go off camera. I'll play them. Start the music. But I still need to go to. Anke Ma'at, everyone. Anke Ma'at family. Hope you're all doing well this Sunday morning, this beautiful raw day.
I keep my eye. I keep my eye. Having some technical difficulties over here, but
That's all right. You made it. You made it.
nonetheless, yes.
Oh, All right. We'll get into it. I do want to say before we start, I was monitoring your or admiring, I should say, your artwork that you're working on. I can't wait to see the finished product.
Thank you, girl. It's just something I was supposed to do all kind of other stuff yesterday, but that hit me to do it because I started the canvas and I created the back of this black background painted with some different like for fluorescent colors coming through it, and it's been sitting there for months. And I kept saying, "You need to finish this, or at least draw the tree on it, and then go from there." So
Mhm.
I got in the groove last night, and I go to bed
See,
till like 2 something in the morning.
yeah, I was up until about 3 this morning, still messing with my hair. I'm pretty much done. I got 2 more to go. But yeah, I was up late last night, but I get those bouts, you know what I mean, where certain creations start flowing through you. And either it'll be writing or whatever it might be, sometimes coloring, drawing, whatever the case may be. So you gotta let it flow when it hits you.
You
You
sure do. Do I in that Taru, do I in my aunt. Today we gather in a spirit of gratitude like we do every Sunday. Not only for ourselves, but for our shrine. Not only for ourselves or our shrine, but for the entire committed community where my aunt is being lived, wherever the Netaru are being honored, wherever an altar is being tended, wherever libations are being poured, wherever sacred texts are being studied, wherever children are being taught, wherever communities are being nurtured. The work of Kemet continues. No one shrine carries this work alone. No one priest or priestess carries this work alone. No one elder, teacher, or practitioner carries this work alone either. We are many voices, yet one community. We are many temples, yet one purpose. Through our traditions, lineage, and practices may differ, we are united in our reverence for the Neteru and in our commitment to living Ma'at. Through our through our adoration, today our adoration is an offering of gratitude for every sincere practitioner who quietly serves, teaches, mentors, preserves, builds, and uplifts our community. May we celebrate one another rather than compete. May we encourage one another rather than divide. And may we remember that every righteous act performed in the name of Ma'at strengthens the whole Kemetic community.
That's right. That's right. And I love that opening there before we do the opening of the way, because as we come here every Sunday, being that we both are members of the Shrine of Ma'at, we don't come here in representation of just the Shrine of Ma'at. You have many, many channels that you work through, just as I do, and this space, as a reminder, is for the entire Kemetic community. We come here, we give gratitude, we give adoration, not just for the Shrine of Ma'at, but like she said, for the entire Kemetic community. It's not about one person, one priest, one shrine. It is the collective. And there are so many things that assist in our journeys, you know what I mean? And along the way, we meet so many different people, practitioners of different levels. Some of them are just interested. It may not be delved into specific practice, but we're connected. So one community, just like she says, as a whole. So that's wonderful. Of course, we will do the opening of the way. I'm going to do what I usually do, which is going to, I'll follow along, but I'm going to share the video of the opening of the way. Found something interesting, and I'm sure we all noticed this before. I really, it was just the other day when I was watching this video, because sometimes we'll get on and we'll do the opening of the way, and we'll have guests come on and they'll do the opening of the way, like Tahuti Mess last week. But I wonder if anybody ever paid attention, and I'm sure I'm not, just because I just realized this watching the video. I'm sure most people have seen. So before I even say what I'm thinking about, I'm going to play the video of the opening of the way, and then we'll get into it. But I just found it interesting that I never really noticed it before. I was focused on the actual opening of the way versus really paying close attention to the video. So I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to see if you notice, which you probably have before too. I just happened to notice this the other day. So I'm gonna play it.
Anetrak unbed het. Nuke unbed het.
Anetrak happy.
Nuke happy. Twau inter. Anetrak serket. Nuke serket.
Anetrak kebsenuf.
Nuke kebsenuf. Twau inter. Anetrak ast. Nuke ast.
Anetrak amset.
Nuke amset. Twau inter. Anetrak neat. Nuke neat.
Anetrak dwamutef.
Nuke dwamutef. Twau inter. Anetrak newt. Nuke newt.
Anetrak geb.
Nuke geb. Twau inter.
Anetrak shoe.
Nuke shoe. 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 Anetrak tefnut. Nuke tefnut. 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 Nuke tefnut.
Tefnut.
Anetrak pau interu. Nuke pau interu. Anetrak unbu interu. Nuke unbu interu. Twau enter. Twau enter.
Okay. How do I get the get us back? There we go. Now, how do I get us back to boom? Now, you know how the saying goes, when did you realize such and such? It was today, not today, but the other day that I realized this watching the video. Did you notice that each of the Messi Heru, the sons of Heru, they showed the image of each of the jars as the opening of the way was as they were speaking them? I didn't notice that until like when they said Hapi, when they said Serket, each of the deities or each of those divine forces, they showed each of them while they were doing the opening of the way. I didn't notice that before because I never really paid attention. I was more so paying attention to the opening of the way. Had you noticed that before?
I hadn't. I haven't seen that video as much as most people have anyway, but no, I did not.
I just never really, I guess, physically looked at it, you know, more so than listening to it and looking at the directions and just kind of looking at it as a memory of how young they were when they did it. But I never really paid attention that it shows each of those. There's a statue of each of the deities as they're moving around. I was just like, oh, interesting. So if anybody ever has a question of what the images of those deities look like, take a look at that video and get more, you know, familiar with which one looks, you know, when we're speaking those names, Happy Serket, Austin, Amset, Duamutef, all of them, even Newt and Geb, all of them, every last one of them except for Paut and Mbu, they show the image of him. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never really paid attention to that before. So just a tidbit in case, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure I'm just late, late to the party when it comes to that. Say honor to the Neteru, honor to the Aku, honor to those gathered in truth and sincerity. May the way be open before us. May every obstacle be removed. And may our gathering be established in Ma'at. May our hearts be or united in peace and fellowship. Dua in Ma'at, Dua to the Netru, and Dua in Aku. And of course, before we proceed, the one who brought to us the opening of the way, we always want to give reverence to Baba Heru, Ankh Ra Samaj Sepatah, Heru, opener of the way, bearer of the Ankh. We give thanks for his life, we give thanks for his teaching, thanks for his vision of a stronger and more unified Kemetic community, which is fitting for the may we honor his legacy by building bridges, uplifting one another, and serving Ma'at with humility and love. Dua Baba Heru Ankra Samaj Sepatah.
Dua, dua. Oh goodness. Giving of our flowers. Today we offer flowers for every shrine and temple where the Netaru are honored, for every priest, priestess, elder, teacher, and servant of Ma'at, for every new practitioner seeking understanding, for every child learning our traditions, for every act of service performed quietly and without recognition. We give flowers to all who encourage love and work together in community and in communion within the Kemetic community. And you always show some flowers. So this is one of my new favorite ones I'm going to share with you guys. Just giving up the flowers. Do I Shanti Ashe? And before we started, I pour libations to our elders and ancestors into Netaru to give them honor and praise as well, and for them to be in this sacred space with us today.
Dua. Right. It's beautiful, nice and green. Even though we're on a screen, it gave me a little. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. So as we move in this space as usual, we're going to go ahead and get started with setting the feathers so we can get into today's discussion. And of course, we always have our 4 breaths here. And with those breaths today, we're going to be 4 breaths of unity. Since we're discussing community as a whole, so 4 breaths of unity. First breath's going to be gratitude. Second breath's going to be humility. The third will be fellowship. And we always give a breath to Ma'at. We will exhale division. That's very important. After we give gratitude, humility, and fellowship, when we breathe in on that 4th breath and we inhale Ma'at, we are going to exhale division. So that separation needs to be, that gap needs to be closed. So if there's any division or a divide that you may feel as a Kemetic practitioner, just know that we are thriving as a community. We are one community. So on that breath, we're going to exhale that division. So let's go ahead and take our 4 breaths so we can get into today's topic. And the first is gratitude. Humility. Fellowship. And Ma'at. All right. All right. Today's adoration, it extends beyond ourself, like she says. We lift our voices in thanksgiving for the entire Kemetic community. May every sincere act of devotion, every offering, every lesson, every prayer, and every service offered, righteousness be received by the Netaru.
Do we want to? Yeah, we gonna do our adoration to the Netaru, and then we get into our conversation.
Sure.
Okay, just want to make sure. So I love this part, so I always write some when I figure out what the topic is.
I know. Whenever you get into, that's why I love the way the back and forth goes, because I see which portions of it I can see how your flow goes, and I'm like, yeah, I love listening to this part.
We're gonna do our adorations to Anet Taru, Yahweh, to my aunt, Lady of Truth, Mistress of Balance. May we remember that no community can survive without right relationship. Teach us to weigh our words before we release them. Teach us to love truth more than being right. Dua my aunt. Ihawu to Ra, who rises for all without preference. May we learn consistency. May we learn generosity. May we become people. May we become people others can depend upon. Dua Ra. Inhawu to Jehuti, keeper of divine wisdom. Guard our tongues. May knowledge never become arrogance. May wisdom always become service. Dua Jehuti. Inhawu to Hrw. Let me hold up, guys. I'm sorry, I gotta go back. It's like, there we go. Maybe so. Then I will, before I do that, I'm trying to keep them together a little bit. In Hawu to Shashat, divine lady of sacred writing, keeper of memory, mistress of the house of books, she who records knowledge, history, and the unfolding story of civilization. She who stretches the sacred cord and establishes divine foundation upon which temples are built, our community. Teach us to preserve the wisdom entrusted to our generation. May we honor our elders by remembering. May we honor our descendants by recording. May our communities be built upon foundations of truth, wisdom, remembrance, and ma'at. May every house within a Kemetic community we establish become a living testimony to those who came before us and those yet to come. May our words become worthy of remembrance. May our deeds become worthy of recording. Dua Shashat. In Hawu, the Het Hrw, Lady of Joy, Lady of Beauty, Lady of Sacred Celebration. Remind us that healthy communities laugh together, sing together, dance together, celebrate together. May love be our first language. Dua Het Hrw. Ihawu to Aset, Great Mother of Divine Discernment. Teach us patience, teach us compassion, teach us to nourish instead of compete, to uplift instead of diminish, to encourage instead of condemn. May we become caretakers of one another's becoming. May we become caretakers of one another's becoming. Dua said. Dua. Ihawu to Asar, Lord of Restoration. Where our communities has fractured, restore us. Where trust has weakened, renew us. Where hope has faded, raise us again. May remembrance overcome division. Dua Asar. Ihawu to Hrw, protector of right action. Teach us courage, teach us discipline, and teach us responsibility. May we defend one another with dignity. May we protect our communities with integrity. May we stand together always in Ma'at. Dua Hrw. Inhawu to Anu, guide of sacred transition. Lead us away from fear. Lead us away from isolation. Lead us away from division. Guide us toward remembrance. Guide us toward right relationship. Guide us toward becoming one people walking together. One people walking together in Ma'at. Dua Anu. Dua to Anet Taru. Today in our adoration for Kemetic community and community building within a Kemetic community.
Right. Dua. I kind of got chills a little bit for some of those as we were honoring those Neteru. And just thinking, we give thanks every Sunday when we come here, but we have to remember that there's so many things to be thankful for, but there's so many of us and we are spread, scattered across the globe and different things, but so many of us that are doing things and those that want to do things. But it is just to know that there's not the smallest or the largest. There's not the most learned or the least learned, because everyone is both a teacher and a and a student, you know what I mean? And together we strengthen. And when you said even, may we protect those who are becoming, or stand up for those who are becoming, I think that that was so powerful because often, we do see a lot of ego. We do see a lot, and that's anything. That's not in just the Kemetic community. That's in life in general. The competition between women, between men, different things like that. You know what I mean? But just know that every negative thought you have about another is a simple reflection of yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Something that you dislike about yourself. So rather than feeding that negative energy, why would we not build each other up? You know what I mean? Because what you admire and you may feel that you're lacking, you can learn that. You can always sit at the footstep of anyone, no matter their age, no matter how well or how least they may seem studied in things. Everyone has something to offer and something to take away. In every conversation that you have, even from the youngest child, there is something that you will learn and something that that child can contribute to becoming, you
Do
know.
I? Do I? And one thing I was thinking about this morning too, when you were saying that it was about us really understanding what belonging to a Kemetic community looks like. And sometimes I think um as our living beings, we get connected to, what organization we're in, or I guess it's kind of comes into ego, like you were saying, making sure someone speaks the same dialect, or you use the certain words a certain way. Um, what you're supposed to wear, which not so much in the Kemetic community, is a place to do that. What you're supposed to wear, what you don't wear, you know, all those kind of things. How we interpret stuff, right? And definitely within the Kemetic community, sometimes that can cause a little friction, I'm going to say.
Mhm.
How we communicate and things of that nature. But remembering that in community is about remembrance. Remembrance is the big thing for me. But that our Kemetic ancestors, they built together, right? Um, Not through isolated greatness, but communal greatness, building together. They planned together. They measured their foundations together. Knowledge was preserved, teachings were done, songs were sung, all those different things, right? Together. Um, and understanding that no community survives unless we choose to work and unite together, right? A house divided, what happens to it?
It falls.
It falls.
It
It is
falls.
destroyed.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know.
Great, great, great topic because and what you said, the house divided, you know what I mean? And no community thrives alone by one person, one elder, one speaker, one teacher, together. And like you said, that our ancestors, they planned together, they planted together, reap what they sowed together. You know what I mean? Uh, Almost like the sense of what we hear these days, no child left behind. You know what I mean? It really was a sense of community. And when we talk about communion, that is what we're talking about. We're talking about communion with all Kemetic practitioners, and we don't even have to just necessarily isolate it there. We are speaking solely to the Kemetic community on this platform, but we're talking about the universe as a whole because everything plays a part of it. You know what I mean? We may be Kemetic practitioners and maybe family members of ours and friends are not. Does that does that from the same type of love and respect and honor that they deserve because they're not Kemetic practitioners? No. So there comes a time where you have to really look at, even when you're weighing or thinking about your own, yourself, remembering, like you said, remembering the why as modern people we chose to follow an ancient practice such as this, because we know that the concept of ma'at is unwavering. It has not been changed since its creation. Now, those words may be mixed up, but we know that that is in the not only in the Husia, but it's in one of the maximums of Ptah. I believe that's that's the one who wrote that. But if you look at that, that's remembering. You step
Dua.
aside and if you remember why you chose to practice this, why this ancient tradition that some would have called dead has never been dead. It may have rested, it may have been quiet, but why we are so loud about Ma'at now, and remember why. You know what I mean? We
Yes.
chose this.
It's I agree, so true. And it's about remembering, we remembered. So, and what was I going to say? Yeah, remembering. So it wasn't dead. I think it was just inside of us. We had to come back remembering a lot, but also in that, I think to be able to speak on, some of us are, we do go back in history and we have to go back, I think for go back and get it to bring it back. But in doing that, understanding, waiting for Kemet to come back alive, or the Kemetic practices, understanding that's not saying we shouldn't and understand what they are, because we definitely should do that, but remembering us returning to each other, to community, right? All that stuff was created from the people in the community, right? Coming together, with our encouraging words, with our prayers, our conversations, our mentoring, our planting together, right? Our loving, laughing, growing together, crying together. That was community. That was part of it. And we're still building, right? So in part of it, we go back and get it, what I'm saying? So we do have to understand the foundation of who we are, what we are, and what we are practicing, understanding we are still building legacy, moving forward
That's right.
in it, in community. So not getting stuck on, I'm going to say, for lack of a better word, somatics sometimes,
Mhm.
on some things, understanding we are building on. We don't want to be stagnant in it, so we're understanding the foundation and then building on top of that foundation. Like we've seen it happen across the Kemetic practices from, years of, even with the translation, right? Like the metanetter, the opening of the way, and all these different things. Knowing there's always more to learn and grow together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as we're remembering, what are we leaving for the future generations to remember? As we are now in the phase of we are collecting, we are practicing that Sankofa, going back and get it. When they go back and get it, what are they going to find? What will we have left behind for those future generations? Will it be a bunch of empty words? And like you said, the things, there are definitely a lot more to learn. Nobody has it all, because you got to think we live in 2026. Even for the elders who have passed on, who are practicing this legacy, those who are elders still living, they didn't live 3,000 years ago. They didn't live, you know what I mean? So we're all remembering, and we're all doing our best to honor, to make sure that we don't disrespect the legacy that was left, but we're remembering. So it may look different because our interpretations and different things like that, but that's what community is for. And it's not necessarily always about pointing out somebody else's flaw, because may the person that lives in the glass house, the saying, he without sin throw the first stone. It's not that. And you have to remember that that building doesn't, you might have the skill to build a house, but can you do it alone?
No, you cannot. And it's crazy, some of the stuff you just said. I was reading some things that I wrote down. I spoke into my phone because it was a little running around this. but it goes into one of the things that came up. How am I helping to become the community that I seek? And some of the things you said, carrying stones, right? First of all, what kind of stones are you carrying? What are you trying to build? We can't do it together. And every one of us carries a story to continue to add on to our Kemetic history. And we all have a responsibility to build a civilization worthy of those who came before us, like you just said, and those who will follow after us. And all of this is sacred architecture, right?
That's right.
This is living Heka. That is remembrance made visible.
Mhm. Absolutely. And each and every one of us You know, before our existence, we may not have had the knowledge that we would someday be comedic practitioners or what paths we all may take, but we were also utterances. We were the utterance of divine forces that thought we needed to be. And because we are obligated to fulfill our each and every one of our purpose as we're here in this living experience. We were an utterance, just like uh, when Ptah was on that potter's reel. You know what I mean? When things came into existence, he existed. He created himself. Not had anything else been created. You know, so that's not to say that we created ourselves, but it is to say that we were also utterances before our parents had their divine connection and had us. We were thought of. We were thought that our existence was necessary. And that being so, that gift in itself, we're obligated to fulfill its purpose. So many of us want to be, and it's nothing wrong with wanting what you want to be when you grow up, no matter how old you are. But still stepping into whatever your natural gifts are and harnessing them and providing that to the community, to the world that you live in, your families, your everything around you. Be you. And each day as you learn more and more who you are again are obligated to fulfill that purpose because that's what we're put here to do. Fulfill the purpose that each of us are supposed to fulfill. That's why everybody has their separate talents and separate gifts because those are the ones who assist you in whatever it is your purpose is. So as we remember, let's make sure to leave righteous memories as we transition from this life into the next. We must also leave righteous memories. Just to think about how hard it was, how righteous those memories that we are remembering from our ancient ancestors are now. They didn't have the conversations that we had. They didn't have to. But because we're remembering, these conversations are required. And it helps to assist those future generations to make it a little less hard for them to remember. Hopefully, at some point, those that are born, as they grow, they won't have to go through so much strife to figure out what their gifts are and to be able to provide it to the world. The work that we're doing individually, and not just, like I said, not just as comedic practitioners, people in general.
Yeah, and two, when you just said, I was thinking about even us remembering as being a part of a community that we are all doing our part, meaning we all laying certain, building this house. We all have different jobs to do in order to build this house. Some of us are part of the foundation, adding on to the foundation, maybe stripping a little bit of the floor, resurfacing it, putting the walls up, repainting it, things of that nature. The house is pretty much there, but doing those different things, and then doing so, remembering we each play a part, that all of it is different, and in doing so, I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. I'm trying to come back. This menopausal brain be acting up sometimes, but oh goodness, I'm gonna stay right there because I don't remember where I was going with it, but it's gonna come back to me.
You're not alone. It happens to me all the time. At least you ain't having a flash at the same time.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that today. Oh, this is what I was going to say. That understanding that we won't see everything now. That we're a part of building that house, and the house is always going to be rebuilt. Like you have your own house, right? And over years you change it. Like you might change the curtains, you change the paint on the wall, you put in some new windows, all those different things. So understanding that we are still building and we are part of being built. I think sometimes, in my experience, what I've seen going across my own journey and going through different belief systems to get to where I am now, I've seen one commonality that we all, in my experience, everyone that always felt like we was going to do something, we was going to make a radical change right now. Like we were going to see something go a 180 within our lifetimes. And I mean, not really. Sometimes it will, but not always. And for the most part, that's not the case. So just understanding the work you're doing is seen and is needed. but just understanding that we might not see the ending of what it is that we're putting forth right now, but just still to continue to do it, you know, for the future, just like, our ascendants did for us. They didn't see everything that was, going to be happening and where we're going to take it to the next level, but it's still our job to do our part now. And I'm saying it to say, don't be so hard on ourselves in the committed community. Sometimes we feel like individually we have to take on everything, and that we have to see the fruits of our labor right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we don't always see that. We want to plant those seeds. We may never see them, and we may. It depends, but just as long as you stick to what it is that your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing within the community, um, that's all you should be doing.
Absolutely. And just think about it. Our ancestors from thousands of years ago, uh, I would not imagine that they foresaw thousands of years later. Look at the seeds that they planted and where we are now. So there are some times when the season permits for the harvest to be ready, you know, we may not. It may be thousands of years from now. We don't know. That's not even the focus. The focus is, like you said, knowing, finding out what your purpose is, finding out what your gifts are, planting those seeds. And if you happen to reap those benefits and the crop comes in, great. Harvest, share, harvest, and share. But at the same time, you're still required to plant. You're still required to do whatever it is that you were put here to do. And there's reason behind it, because again, like you said, that house, that community, that mansion, that whatever the result is, there is no end result. This is infinite, and it's always going to be remodeled. It's always this house will always be remodeled for our descendants that come after us. They're going to be remodeling. They're going to be taking, like you said, following in our footsteps and remodeling and changing the rooftop and doing those things that require the upkeep and maintenance. Now, in that, the carpenter may be the carpenter. So why would the roofer come and try to fix the carpet? Why would the electrician come and do the plumbing? you know, so
Mhm.
everybody, there is no talent, there is no contribution, there is no gift that you have that's on a scale that can be measured higher or lower. Equally, they're all necessary. So if you're the electrician, come do the wiring. Don't worry about the roof because the roofer has that. If you're the carpenter, come do the carpet. Don't do the, you know what I mean? Whatever your gift is, be concerned with mastering that gift and being able to provide that gift without needing to compete with your brother or sister next to you that may be the roofer while you're the electrician.
And now we're talking about community. It made me think of something about maybe 2 weeks ago. I went with a friend of mine to this place in Greensboro, North Carolina called Copper Vibrations, and she does a tea time on Tuesday evenings. And in this community space, they have all different people with different cultural backgrounds. Some Kemetic, some Hebrew Israelites, some people that I don't know what they would call each other, just spiritualists, I guess. The majority of them were. But community and a Kemetic community is everywhere. I met some elders there that was from the Kemetic community that was what New York, and she was one of the brothers. Her husband studied under Baba Haru. It looked like he or with him, but and she was a part of, oh my God, I'm trying to remember the shrine that she said. Uh it was a star something. I don't remember the name of the mentor that is a part of it. I do know, I believe at one point he was in New York, and I think it's still going right now, and it's in Atlanta from the research that I did. But she asked me the one young lady there was saying that, she has a space and they rent it out, or they have different people. A lot of people come to her shop that she has there, and they ask her different questions. And she says she only knows what she knows, but she's the place in North Carolina, it is called in Greensboro, it's called Copper Vibrations.
Copper vibrations. Did you get that, St. James? Copper vibrations. Ooh, Greensboro, that's my stomping ground. That's my my family's from Mount Olive, but we got a lot of
Yeah.
folks that moved from there that are in Greensboro. Ooh, I know. Check that out the next time I get out there.
Yes, but the sister, she was saying they were looking for somebody who knew a little bit more about the Kemetic spirituality, because a lot of people come in there and want to do that because they have other classes about other things. And the one of the elders, she was asking me, what temple I was a part of and things of that nature and what they knew. And it's crazy because her husband has a video of Baba Haru um doing the opening of the way, and he was saying how they haven't really since they moved, trying to find committed community and stuff like that. He put something he watched on, that's like one of his favorite videos, right? His wife was like, "You showing her that video, aren't you?" It was crazy. She was talking about how how she was doing the work and different things, and how trying to get more committed communities in Greensboro, North Carolina, all together, and how but they were older. She was like, I said, well, sis, man, that's not you an elder now. I said, so you need to find people like me and younger. You guys sit there, and you teach us. We sit at your feet and you guide us. And no, where you going? Bring it back this way a little bit as we build and we continue to keep the house moving and going. And she was like, no, I can't, do all that anymore. I try to do this, I try to do that. So it was amazing, the connection you can have and how our community is everywhere. And they that to also lead into the things you got going across the things in one community, many temples, and we're doing adoration for the collective community. So when we're doing that, give adorations to some of the temples that I know, when I don't always know everybody's. I am horrible at names and stuff like that. But we have the temple of Anu, of course, the shrine of Ma'at. I believe there's another shrine in Phoenix. We also have the Bamesu temple.
Yes.
We have the House of All Set, the House of Magical Devotion. We have Neteret and Ma'at. We have so many different ones in these communities, and they're all doing their part in different ways. And it's a whole lot of other ones that I do not know. I know some of the faces of some of the people who do them, but their actual names. So in saying that, I'm giving adoration to all of you as well, even though that names that I don't know of. So if you guys know those names, put them in the chat. This Shinkai, you want to say some of them, but we're giving adoration to those. Yes.
Absolutely. Even names of people, and some of a lot of the temples you mentioned, those are temples that I would have mentioned, but even, just different folks who I have been inspired. I've had pleasure of meeting. I've actually been able to learn under. I've gotten to be able to communicate with them. Sanjeti, Seba, call him Seba Sanjeti. He's got a new name, but I say Seba because he's definitely a teacher. Wajeti, also wonderful, wonderful, amazing teacher of the Medu. He was studied under Mfudishi. Now, I have gotten the pleasure to meet Mfudishi, but just to even see the works of his students and the things that they're doing speaks volumes. Sanjeti also studied under Mfudishi at a time, and just to know the information they have, and these are teachers, two different methods of teaching, both critically value. I was able to learn so much over the years from both of those. And again, you said Himneta and Bara. I mean, just some of the other practitioners that may not be in our temple, but things that we have been able to just, some of the beautiful elders that I've met, like those 6 women. I think they were called the in Butu, if I'm not mistaken. They had the 6 women who had created 6 shrines. They were studied under Baba Heru. I had an opportunity to meet a couple of them. One of them, her name, she's an elder. I want to say she's in her 80s, Mayada. She first had the shrine of Ma'at. Now, it wasn't our shrine of Ma'at, but each of those women had a shrine of their own. There was a shrine of Sekhmet. There was a shrine of Bast. I can't quite remember all 6 of their names, but I had the opportunity of meeting some of those ladies at Baba Heru's homegoing service. Just the outpouring of those that you do meet, even Raket Kajara, things like that. Just different folks that we've had the opportunity of crossing paths with and learning from, and being able to be in communion with these people. And the list goes on. Those are just a few names off the top, like you said, that I could think of. Even Aboot Sashat, although she don't like to be called Himnet or Sashat, although she is, even Aboot Sashat, the things that she's done with Tuesday Talks, her yoga, different things that over the years we've been able to experience with different folks. It's been amazing. And that needs to continue, if not increase. I even give adoration to you. The conversation that we had when we were in Detroit, there were a lot of things that I see in you that are admirable, and I sit at your foot for. You know what I mean? We've done a lot. A lot more to go, but we've done some work together. You've helped me out on some things, and it's just that I take none of it for granted. I honor each and every connection made, as we grow, as things evolve, you know what I mean? I just look forward to what we have in each of us, the building blocks that each of us contribute to the community.
Do. And the name of the comedic house that the elders were in with the wife was the Asar Set Society.
Yeah, Sarah Set Society.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
then I also want to mention why I can't think of. Oh, this is making me so mad. Is it? I know I'm gonna say it wrong. Is it Rashiki Temple or something in
Yeah,
Atlanta?
yep. The
Yeah.
Raseki.
Yes, Rashiki. Yes,
Mhm.
that as well part of the community. Give adoration to all of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even the Shrine of Ptah.
Yes,
Granted,
yes.
granted, the Shrine of Ptah may have not, it was more so the studio of Ptah as we came into this practice because he had already stopped with the shrine. But because of that pillar, a lot of these branches exist. You know what I mean? So even
Yeah.
giving honor to the Shrine of Ptah and those members with Baba Heru that he had that did the work, that many are now ancestors. Very few of them are still living. But look at the branches from that tree. You know what I mean? Many of those
Yes,
names that we just mentioned were branches of that tree. You know what I mean? So
yes. So true.
to all of the work that we are honored to be able to be a part of, and being worthy and doing the things that we do. And of course, we don't just do what we do to be recognized. We do it because it's what we know is right in our hearts. So at some point, there's someone's going to be saying, "Do it for the work that we've done as well," because we continue to take that torch and to keep going with it. We're not just dulling it out. We're not dimming it. If anything, we're doing what we can to make it brighter, to make those more aware. And look at that. You went to Greensboro and met some practitioners. So we are everywhere. And why it's quiet is because, like I've always said, they were looking for our people, they're looking for us. They're looking for us.
Listen. Yes. It was so energizing. I guess I'm gonna use that word to talk to her and sit and listen to her and things, and even how she was. It was also eye opening for me. One of my things personally is to stand in my power and who I am, right? And
Mhm.
understand. So she's listening and how she's, talking to me as if I am someone who, like I know a little something or whatever. I was like, okay, girl, you're exuding something. So you are walking in it, because sometimes when we don't see ourselves as sometimes as other people
Mhm.
see us kind of thing. So that was, and all of it was dope to get to talk to them. And then make connections there. And she's telling me about how, which I didn't know, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Apparently, she's saying it's a little bit more of a Kemetic community there. So now I'm like, okay, let me go that way. She was asking, "Oh, do you have a temple?" I was like, "No." One of the brothers from the shrine asked, "It's a brother in the shrine from Charlotte that says we gotta, brother. If you just say this, we gotta connect or what have you."
That's
Um,
St. James right there.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's
But yeah,
him.
we
That's
definitely
him.
have to connect
Definitely,
this
that's
for
St. James
sure.
right there
Because I
in
feel
Charlotte.
like I don't know when, but so many different things are coming. It's time to try to create some kind of space in some kind of way. I don't know what that looks like per se in this region around this area. And I know that's not something for me to do alone at all. But yeah, and I'm also someone who always definitely, as my name says, my God, everything has to be in harmony and balance. So with that being said, knowing what I'm good at and what others good at, and having the balance of the masculine and feminine energy within all that we do, because I do understand that how I view things and then how Um, the a sin would look at it is completely different in how they approach things, right?
Mm.
Versus how I do, versus how a woman would versus a man, and how that's definitely needed in creating foundations for, in my personal opinion, all that we do.
Yes, yes. Yes. Have you been to KSI in Charlotte?
Um, I have. I've been there a couple times. I have not been to any of their like big gatherings or things of that nature. I've just been to the store
Okay, okay.
a few times. So
I've seen things on social media from that facility in Charlotte that he's mentioned of, and I always look at that and I'm like, see, where I live in Virginia, it would seem that I would be able to find a lot of connections because I'm just outside of DC. But what I found, I haven't found a lot. And if anybody has any insight on folks in DC, please let me know. DC, Maryland, or Virginia. Now, Baltimore is a little outside of what we call the DMV. So that's outside of the DMV. I find when I say Virginia, people think Norfolk, Virginia. They think Virginia Beach, and that's about 4 hours away. It's not really close, but there is a community in that area. I have again seen about the facility in Charlotte, and that's closer to me than Norfolk is, to be honest with you. But where I am, I'm again right outside of DC, and I found a lot of conscious community groups, I should say, but none particularly that practice the Kemetic tradition. So it's been rough for me here, but I think that's something that just poses, a charge, I guess I should say, as Baba would have called it, and as we often say, a charge, a charge. I charge all of us, including myself, and you guys have done some of this already in your areas, but those of us who have not sought out any type of Kemetic community in the areas that you live, I urge you to try, because I can guarantee you, just because we don't know about it doesn't mean it's not there. Here I
mhm.
am in the suburbs here in Virginia, just outside of DC. It's not a lot of Black folks, but I would bet you that there is a Kemetic practitioner or a few somewhere in the area. So I would charge folks to, as we're talking about, like what the topic is, uh, one community, many temples. See, search it out. See what you can find, because you would be surprised that I would guarantee you that there's at least a few practitioners in every state of this country. I would
Yes.
bet for sure. And I don't mean hours from you. I mean, I could bet you that it could be someone in this neighborhood right now that's a Kemetic practitioner that I would never even know about. you
Do
know,
I do I? Yeah.
so
And I charge that we because I feel like so many of us feel like we are alone. So one of our reflection questions, I guess I'm gonna throw it out there outside of what we already have, is what to think on what is it that you can do to bridge those gaps, right? Because you felt alone, like you were the only one out there in your area. So what is it you think that you can do to alter and
what I
change
do
that
to
and bring community to you? And one way that I'm going to say you can do it is, like we said before, in our prayers and things of that nature. You speak it. I bring community to me.
that's
I open up to the universe so that I can be seen, and they can be seen, so that when I'm walking wherever I'm at, we recognize each other and we come together. I speak that over this, this space right now. If you're watching this now, you're watching it tomorrow, you're watching it from a year from now. If you are someone who is in a space that you feel that way, open up yourself to um believing and feeling and sense and knowing that you can bring community to you if you are open to receive it. So I pray that we open ourselves up to that, so we may receive community and come together. And that's the prayer that I have. And slowly but surely it's happening. Go to Greensboro, met somebody at my job. um Community is coming, your tribe is coming.
Do I? Do I? I want to say that out loud myself. I bring community. I'm open to bringing community into my life. That is just wonderful, because we know that there are ways, and finding strategic ways to even bring awareness where you are. Because again, just because I may think I'm the only one, there's somebody else that thinks they're the only one too. So even urging us to get involved in community events, you know what I mean? You don't always have to have something to sell. You don't always have to have, a item to sell, a brochure to give, but presence, letting it be known who you are and making sure that you go up to these community events and different things like that. Get involved with your community. Find out about things that are going on at your local libraries. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
the summer is still here. We still have time before there's lots of community events that go on. Go out to those things and just let your presence be known. You would be surprised who you may see. Someone that just may simply be wearing African colors, maybe a comedic practitioner.
Is that, and just going out to those, some of those conscious community events, you'll see a lot of other comedic practitioners going to them because they don't necessarily know or where they can go to something that's specifically geared towards comedicism, I guess
Mm-hmm.
I'll say. So they'll go to those type of events and you'll see them as the thing that you're wearing or whatever, you'll connect with them. So I
Mm-hmm.
pray that happens as well. I put something in I think the Shrine of my group, but I also shared it on my page. I don't even know where this came from. I don't even know how I know this brother, but
I saw that flyer.
when repent, right? Coming
Mm-hmm.
up, they having something in Massachusetts. So that, I mean, all the people that he got coming there and speaking there, so they have this community out there. So anybody that's in that area or it's not too far for you to possibly try to want to drive to, that's a connection that you could get to. Listen, I was initially I was in North Carolina looking for it, didn't see it. Then I left and went back to Jersey, didn't know anything. I drove. I lived in South Jersey. I would drive. Anytime Shrine did something, I had to drive to New York. I
Yep,
had
we
to
should.
drive to North Jersey when I, wanted to participate sometime in some of the things that the Temple of Anu did. But I did it
That's right.
because I wanted community. So you know what I'm saying? I
That's
did what
right.
I
We
did,
benefit
got some
for
community stuff
those.
going on. I'm about to drive back up there again in 2 weeks.
That's
And I'm
right.
in North Carolina now. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's
For
and being
sure, I
supportive
think
as well to
they're
the
doing their way.
collective community.
Mm-hmm. So that's exactly right. I saw that. And when you see information that's coming out for events, just like you did, all of you, when you see things that's coming out, it's not isolated to like we're saying, one temple, share that information. Spread that information. We don't need to gatekeep it. Even if you're not going to be able to attend and it comes across your page, you might not be able to get to Massachusetts. But you're making that you're spreading that awareness so that somebody in Massachusetts may see that and maybe be able to attend. So I think it's important for us to do that. Spread the word, supporting the community. That sometimes, if that is the most support that you can do, is to inform folks about events and different things, then that's still an asset. You are still a part of that house building that we were talking about.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
So very true.
we can transition into prayer at this time. So I'll say then, today we especially pray for the Kemetic community, for every shrine and temple, every priest and priestess, every elder, every new seeker. May the Neteru bless our collective efforts, and may Ma'at continue to flourish among us. Now, if there are anybody who is watching us today that has any prayer requests, whether it be for you, for your family members, for anything in general, again, we don't come here pretending or with the notion that we can meet your request, that we can fix anything, but that's what this is about collectively. Again, community building. We are, church folks say when two or three come together. That's what they used to say. The older folks used to say when two or three come together, God is present. Well, I strongly believe in that concept still. And we all know that even no matter where they came from. Yes, we know that a lot of those African concepts, but think about it. We were chanting around the fires. We were invoking the things that we needed. We danced around fires. We held hands. We did all of those things so that we could get the things that we were looking for. We danced for food as hoping that our crops would come in. We danced and we chanted and we did things and different rituals to heal folks. This is no different. Although we're not sitting here stating that we can fix it, but collectively we can certainly raise that vibration. I do have Sinet Cassie, which is Sinet Oye Heru. She is on the prayer list. She's got a family member who has been hospitalized with some conditions, and we're asking and praying that the Netaru will lay their hands on those physicians, whatever the situation for her loved one may be. Sometimes it's kind of unrealistic to come and say, Netaru, fix all the broken things. What's supposed to be is supposed to be. All of us are going to leave this place at one time, at some point. We know this. So sometimes when our loved ones are ailing and we see that it's their time and we're asking, oh, fix them, heal them. That's not what I'm saying in her case. But when we pray here, we pray with sincerity and realistically. So whatever the case may be, we need to pray that the physicians are treating this person right, that the hospital bed, that all of that stuff is in play for this person to be healed, not just for the healing, because we don't know the situation, but just so that everything it's in its place for healing to take place, whatever that might look like, whatever healing is for her loved one. And granted, we always want them to get better, but we want the situation to be established for them to get better. So whatever that looks like, that is the energy that I like to send out. And also to our beloved sister, just to let her know that she's not alone when you're going through something, when you're hurting, when there's a family member, when there's a transition or a death or anything like that. We want folks to know that we are here for them, not to fix it, not to find flowery words to make it feel better, but we're here. You're not alone. Sometimes it's just silence that's required. So for that, for our beloved Sinet, I just want to say to her, and listen, he says wherever we are, the Netaru is there. It doesn't have to be two. That's right. It doesn't. I just use that sin as a as a as a metaphor, so to speak. We know that the Netaru reside within us, and the stronger their presence are when we come together and we raise that vibration. So they are with us. So Sinet Oye, whenever you watch that, you are in our prayers. Your loved one is in our prayers. She also had a friend who lost his son. So we ask that, and matter of fact, I actually, while we're praying, we pray sincerely. I actually have their names of her loved one, as well as so the one who's being hospitalized. We pray that Sharon Cooper is the one who's in the hospital. Sharon Cooper, like I said, we ask that the Netaru surround those physicians. They surround that facility that you're in and establish the way for whatever may come, for your healing to take place, that there are no blockages in what you're needing to actually heal. And for a brother, Jamie Bryant, who's the father of his son, Nez, who lost his life at 25. We do pray that you find comfort and solace in the time that you were able to spend with your son. We know it's not easy outliving our children. 25, 55, no matter the age, we know that that's difficult, but hopefully at some point you will find comfort in knowing that you were blessed to have a son, to have that love, to have that relationship, whether it been 25 years or 55 years. We do pray that you find comfort in that. And I do not see, just make sure I don't see anybody else. I don't like to miss over anybody if anybody has any prayer requests.
Don't forget, let's speak the names of what is Amez and
Wasiri. Yes,
Wasiri.
always, every week, as Himneter Ames is still on his healing journey. We always want to speak every week. We want to speak their name, Himneter Wasiri. In fact, we want to say both of their names loud. Himneter Wasiri can barely speak at this time, and we pray that the Netaru return his voice, return his voice to be heard again. Because I know that, as he's going through him Netter Ames, as he's going through, you know what I mean, he gets down on his energy some days as well. And it gets tiring and it gets worried, but he knows that we mur him. You all that have those phone numbers, continue to reach out to them. It really does raise them up. They get so excited and they are very, very receptive and love to know that people are thinking about them and praying for them. So we always speak their names and pray that both of them get on the other side of that healing as they're doing the work to do so.
If we have any other names or anything in the chat that you saw, anywhere in it?
I did not. I just checked the chat. I don't see any other names. Yeah, I don't see any other names here or there. Just making
Well,
sure.
in spirit, if you guys come, we're gonna create a space that if you happen to watch this later, that you can call out any names that you may have as well, and that they will be charged with what we're about to pray right now. So we can get to a space where we're going to pray. And guess what I learned, guys? This is I'm kind of saying how we're supposed to hold our hands when we pray. Sometimes if you're not doing prayer, talking about committed practitioners, we got to come in here, we got to learn, we got to share, we got to move in it. I'm praying, so I'm going to not do that. But something I learned, as I learned, I want to share. I'm loving my journey and the details that I'm getting into, that I just not being on the surface level no more. But with that being said, say with the names that were called out in this space by myself and Sinet Shankar, we uplift those names as we stand with them and with their family members, as you guys also call on and embody the Netaru that you need to embody in order to help you, to guide you, to strengthen you on your journey of healing, of understanding, of remembrance, whatever it may be that you may need at this time. We stand with you in conjunction with you, uplifting your names, and also being strength for you if need be, so that you can remember who you are and what you stand for, and knowing that you can call on the Netaru. You can embody those things to help guide you through. And when you cannot, we are here to call on that and to help you to remember who you are and what you can do within yourself. And also in our prayers, we talked about community, and so we're going to pray for community prayer, that may we become people who strengthen one another. Where there is isolation, let's create fellowship. Where there is suspicion, let's create understanding. And where there is pride, let's plant humility. Where there is exhaustion, we're going to send out encouragement. May our elders be honored. May our children be protected. May our teachers remain humble. May our students remain teachable. May our disagreements never become hatred. May truth remain greater than personality. May ma'at remain greater than ego. May the ma'at that we live in, because we know ma'at is greater than ego, but may the ma'at that we embody, that we walk in, remain greater than ego. May we remember that every temple begins with a single measure stone, yet no temple is completed by one pair of hands. May we become living stones in the rebuilding of our collective houses and as of our collective comedic community. Dua Shanti Ashe.
Dua. And there's a reflection today, just like you mentioned earlier, as we walk away from here today. And if you are feeling alone in your community where you are, ask the Netaru to bring the community to you and do some work, research. And I'm sure many of you have, but go out to those community events, go out into the community and see who you may cross. Somebody's looking for you just like you're looking for them. They are, I can guarantee it. So go out there and see. St. James, I will let know Sinet Oye say that, let her know that she's missed. I definitely will. And with that, it looks like we're going to close out. Do you have anything else to add for today?
um, oh, not really. I just want to say may our week be guided by my eye, guys. Illuminated by Ra, strengthened by Heka, and preserved through the wisdom of Jehudi and Shashat, and restored by Asar, protected by Haru, and filled with the joy of Heteru as we move forward in this week.
Absolutely.
Continue building together.
That's right. That's right. So with that, we say happy Raw Day, HAPI Raw Day to all of you all. And as we're remembering, make sure we're leaving those marks to be remembered. With that, we say Shimon Ma'at, much more to all of you until next week.